10 classes, we will complete planning. Oh, we lost 20 minutes today. Okay, before I take you through the planning, let me show you one of how actually it saves or it works. The planning, how it differ with SBase. Sorry for my throat, it's bad cold.
Oh.
Okay, if you see this, if you take a planning app, you will be having three steps, three sets. One is RDBMS, another is SBase, another is planning app. If you take the what to say? If you have a planning app, you would be opening it in a web page, HTTP connections, through HTTP connections. So when you are creating this app, a planning application, you need to provide the connections between two things. One is towards SBase, one is towards RDBMS. What it will do, whatever you do the changes related to metadata or any other options other than data, anything it might be, everything will be saved into RDBMS first. Then let's take metadata. That is, metadata means hierarchy. Let's take an hierarchy. If you create an hierarchy, first of all, it would be saved into RDBMS. And you have to initiate a refresh command so that whatever the changes happened in planning would be affecting SBase, so that SBase will get the complete updated hierarchies from planning. Only then you can save the data related to the new members which were created in the planning. That means, let's imagine you have SBase application have sales and profit related to planning application, because last time you did created only two members, that is sales and profit, so that the same thing has been reflected in SBase. Now you are able to save the data in planning SBase, in SBase for sales and profit. Now if you are creating a new member, revenue, in planning application, then once you created the moment you create it, it will not go to the SBase immediately. Until and unless that revenue member is available in SBase, you cannot save the data, because SBase doesn't have the combination at all to save the data. So the moment you saved it, okay, the moment you saved it here in the planning, it will just save it in its RDBMS, that is relational database, which is in the backend, just for maintaining purpose, to show it in a web form, web view. So there will be an option to refresh the outline and the database. So if you, the moment you refresh it, related the content, whatever you have newly created or newly deleted or newly renamed, every information will be saved here. That information will be pushed to SBase. Now SBase will have the revenue member. Henceforth you can save the data in the application, in the SBase, for revenue member. Either directly in SBase you can save it, or from planning you can save it so that automatically the data will be saved into SBase. Yeah, am I clear with this information? That's the reason metadata transactions will be done from planning app to RDBMS. Only data transactions directly happens between SBase and planning application, and metadata and outline from RDBMS it will take to SBase. So from here to here, here to here.
Yeah, but I need examples of that, please.
Mm, those are the things I said. Sales, revenue, profit.
See, I got your point, but for example, when I define a new member, okay, that when I deploy it, maybe this is relating what you're saying for deployment, right? I have to deploy the application. So at that case, it will be stored in the metadata, right? If I didn't do that, it will not show up in the planning, or I cannot store data in there, right? Is that, for example, one of the scenarios?
Yeah. Usually you will be getting a new accounts, right? Every month you will be getting a new accounts. The moment you created a new account in the planning app, you need to perform a refresh. Only then it will go to the SBase. Until and unless the that member is available in SBase, you cannot save the data.
Okay.
You agree with that? Without member name, you cannot save the data in SBase. No
But
combination exists.
why RDBMS is into picture? I mean,
Yeah.
metadata. Why I
Mm.
don't have direct metadata in space? Why
There are,
RDBMS?
yeah, sure, exact, excellent one. First thing, why they are using RDBMS is, first thing is, they need to enable the web thing. In web page, if you are opening something in web page, and if you are having a complex calculation or complex formulas or complex scenarios where to get the data from somewhere, then web page need to have a web server, need to have a RDBMS where it saves the data, and it will send the SQL statements or select statements, retrieves it, and show it on the web page. You got my point? If you are opening this, okay, if you are opening this, okay, the moment when you are opening this, it is asking for your username and password. It has to validate the password, right?
Yes.
The validation of password as well as whether user is existing or not. If the database is SQL, then it will save there. When he logged in, last time when he logged in, how many times he used it, how much time he used it. This all information should be saved somewhere to pull it and show it on the web page.
Okay.
So this web page technologies, Java, these technologies uses JSP and everything. Those web servers. Web servers will create the JSP pages, ASP pages and all. So these web servers need a database to store or to give the information later on.
Okay,
So
I see.
that's how that RDBMS they brought into the picture. This is one thing. And after that, yes, as you said, the moment I created it in the web, why don't it get created in the SBase? Do you remember when we save a dense dimension member, it requires a dense restructure? Do you remember restructures?
Yeah. For dense and
So sparse if you are saving, then sparse restructure. Dense if you are saying, then dense restructure. If you are deleting a member, same way. If you are changing some properties, it might affect the dense, and it might go for dense restructure, the full restructuring and everything. Right?
yes,
So
true.
if you are creating a members here, if you are keep on creating a member one by one, and if it is keep on pushing one by one to the SBase, then do you think for each member creation, if you have 50 members, just imagine, if you have 50 members, for each member creation, the density structure which is taking 3 hours for me, do I need to wait for each member 3 hours? So what they're doing, add everything first, then do a refresh. In one go, I'll send them whenever you have time.
Okay. So this is the purpose of RDBMS. It's like intermediate or stage area to,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Along with that, there are few more others also, because from RDBMS, when it is showing, SBase can save only numerical information, numerical data. However, RDBMS can save anything, even strings it can save. So whenever there are few features in planning to save the data. Oh, shit, sorry. Come on, come on. I was saying something. I'm sorry. Okay.
No.
In planning, you have a feature something like using a drop-down list, yes or no, something like that. If you, a drop-down list, as well as you can enter a text information directly. This is for P&L team. Please enter the data only if it is 50% higher, or else if the data is something, a comment to be written. So those text information also can be saved by using RDBMS. It's using a third-party integration. It's doing a three-way integration and saving that information. Whenever we retrieve that information, we will get that in a text format itself, in a text comment, whatever you save, where SBase will not allow text as a data. So for all those stuff, it requires RDBMS.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. It's taking a hell lot of time. Of course, obviously it will take, I know. Uh-oh. Very bad time to start.
What happens to your VPN?
Sorry?
What happens to the virtual machine?
It got rebooted. Abnormal shutdown.
All applications down, even space, right?
Sorry?
Even the space is down.
Yep. The complete server got rebooted, right? So everything down.
Okay.
Can you try this at your place? Open a chat window. And try to open this. Can you try this? Is it opening or not? The link which I pinged you on chat. If you are using Mozilla, then you need to have a different add-on. It will ask you, it will say something, then that's enough for me.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it would be really great if you can show your screen even. Can you show me your screen?
It's not opening actually.
What it is giving? That's what I want to see. Can I make you presenter? Can you show me?
Yeah, this product cannot be displayed. Could not be displayed because the remote UXUL manager add-on for Mozilla Firefox.
That means the link is working. If you want, okay, the link is working. That's enough for me.
Okay.
That's enough. The link is working. It's my virtual machine right now. What I am working on, the same thing. The one which you are seeing in my screen, the same link you are opening there.
Okay.
Yesterday I made it. Today afternoon I configured it, so I just wanted to check with you. Okay. So you got this the module how the model how it works, right? There will be RDBMS, there will be an SBase, then there will be a planning app. The planning app will be having the details related to RDBMS as well as SBase. So metadata will be changed. The save initial stage it will be saved here and will be pushed to SBase. And if it is a data from planning app directly, it will be pushed to SBase.
But what I mean, what times are planning push data directly to a space?
What time? When you are entering the data in web forms or through smart view, whenever data will not be saved here. Data will not be saved in RDBMS. Data will be saved only in SBase.
So basically, metadata is can we say
hierarchy?
No, can we say it's a sparse or not related to that only?
Not at all. Metadata means hierarchies, dimensions, and members.
Okay.
Accounts, sales, that all. That type. Entity 1, entity 2, scenario, actuals, budget, FI year 2005, 15, 2016, January, February, final version, draft version. These all will come. USD, INR, dinar, those all.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now this is the workspace. If you have more permissions, you will get more screens. Actually, I have not started rest all services, so it will be displaying this way. If you go to navigate administrator, there will be a planning administration. If you go here to the planning administration, you can create a planning. First of all, you need to create a data source if you want to create a planning application. The data source what data source will contain a schema. If it is Oracle, a schema, or if it is a SQL server, then a database, RDBMS, related to RDBMS, and connection details and SBase connection details. Let me show you that. It is taking time. Yeah. losing the day. It's almost 40 minutes. Oh. Have you been to work today?
No, we have off Friday
On
and Saturday.
Saturdays. Yeah. I thought, yeah. I was thinking that today is Sunday.
Actually, good times passes very fast.
Yeah, it's opening now. It's why it was not open earlier. It's just because of services was not came up properly completely before I try the links because it got rebooted, right? It was taking a long time to open. Okay. Now, first of all, if you need to create an application, you need to create a database, data source. If you want to go for a application without having a data source handy, you can see what happens. I'm creating an I'm just clicking on application creation, add button. Now, there is no data sources available to create a new application.
How did you get there? Planning administration. How did you get it?
Navigate,
Okay.
administer, and planning administration.
Planning administration. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So you do not have data sources, so go to data sources and create one.
What is data source?
Uh, Data source, this is the data source. It's a connection which holds the details of connection between connection for RDBMS as well as SBS server.
Like middleware?
No, yeah, what to say? You have a modem to connect your internet to your system. It's a link, right?
Okay.
It acts as that way. It's a link which saves the information related to RDBMS. As I said earlier, planning app will be depending on two things. One is RDBMS, one is SBase, right? So planning app has to communicate with RDBMS as well as SBase every time. But with which credentials it should communicate? There should be some login names, right? You cannot directly touch RDBMS. There will be some credentials to touch it. Else it won't allow the connection, isn't it?
Yes. Okay.
So here I have SQL Server. What I can do is I'll create a database for this. I'm going to create a new application, so I'll be creating a database. OHPLM_APP23. I'm creating this. I'm sorry. I have created this database. Right now, it doesn't have any tables. No tables. It's only system tables. So no tables at all. So what I will be doing here, I'll be taking SQL Server. The port automatically comes, or if you have different port number, you can mention the different port number. This is local system for me, so local host. If you have server name, if you, the server is in different system, then you have to mention the server name. For me, it's the same system. So, okay, let's take server name itself. This is the server name where my SQL server is installed and database which I have created. This is the database, and username to connect the database is this one, and I'm doing a validate. Connection is successful. So connection is okay. Now checking with SBase. For me, it is SBase and Oracle DB are same in the same server I installed, but usually in a real time, it will not be that way. It will have different systems. So I connected here SBase and validate. connection was successful. So SBase also done. So now I'm creating a data source name. Data source. I'm just saving it. Saved. If I edit it, it will have the information related to SQL connection, my RDBMS connection, and my SBase connection. Nothing else. Okay. Now, if you see it here, you will have another option of Unicode mode. If you are going to create an application Unicode, if the current application, the planning application, has to create a Unicode mode application in the back end of SBase, in the SBase, then you have to select this option. Only then the more than 8 character names will be allowed on the names and everything. See, backend SBase is as it is SBase. There is no change. You will see that. You will
okay.
See that.
One question. Now we are connecting to the SBase, so we assume that SBase database is there. I mean, it is already created, and we only want to connect to there, right?
No. It will create. When you are creating an application, planning application, the planning application will create the backend SBase data, SBase application and databases.
Okay. Okay. So practically, if we are using planning, sometimes we don't need to create anything in SBase. We only come here and do all the work, right?
You can do that, but ultimately there should be an SBase for planning, because the data will be saved in SBase.
Yeah, I see, but most of the work will be on workspace.
Yeah, it's up to you. Yeah, it's up to you. How you developed your application and how you developed your process.
I thought we will create everything, like, because we took the SBase first. I thought that we will create everything in SBase, then we come to the workspace and only connecting. But now you say no, we will create everything from workspace and it will done in SBase.
Exactly. We will create in workspace, that is in planning, that will be represented or pushed to SBase.
All right. Okay.
SBase is a backend. Okay. Here, if you see, there is no Salm and I think it got Salmon training, and I'm creating a new let's create a new application. The data source which I have already created, and now I'm creating SALM, SAMP. SALM and SAMP, it's not there here. In the application list of SBase, this application name is not available. And here, application type. In planning, when you are creating an application, you will have multiple types of applications. Those are, one is general, one is general project. General means whatever we are going through, that is planning and budget. And another one is project financial planning, only for the projects. If you have number of projects, will be, if a steel plant, they wanted to put a they wanted to open 3 plants in different locations, and there are projects going on to build the plant. So those are information. If you want to do an analysis on those type of projects, then you could use project financial planning. That is a different application structure, something like planning and budgeting. The same way, only for public sector, you have a different type of tool, different type of application, that is public sector planning and budgeting. But these all are similar. Almost everything is similar, and it uses same style of nature. That is, everything would be, you would be doing everything on planning, and it will create a SBase as a backend application. Along with that, there will be the difference is, if you have a planning and budgeting, there will be a set of dimensions which is automatically get created. Those set of dimensions will change, or there are few few features and functionalities will be available depend on your application type. Something like if it is a planning and budgeting, it would be mostly towards your budgeting your financial items towards your plan. I mean, if you enter at the quarter level, how to allocate it to the months and everything. Those type of few set of features will be available in planning and budgeting related to entire things. But if you take only the project financial planning, it's completely related to projects. There, what all the members to come, those information will be available. Similar way, public sector planning. Nowadays in US, public sector planning becoming little good. We call it as a PSP, Hyperion PSP. Okay, anyway, we are going to deal with general. So those all for just for your information, nothing else. And in shared services project, we have a set of these all groups actually, under which group it should, the application which I'm creating should be added. I can show it later on, but just for your information, this is a group. Only to understand, if I say the name or company name, immediately I can search for I can go and check the application where it is. Something like a folder which will have many files. If you take files as a application, then this is a group. Just under this group, you will have a file. You will have an application. That's it. And calculation mode. Yeah.
For application type, if I select anything, it will change any functional. It will affect anything or no?
Yes, obviously. They will have a different set of dimensions. They have created, they have created some tool for related to project financial, how it works. Depend on that, they have some features they have bought into and they are selling it as a new tool.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, you got it right. Okay. So calculation module. From 11.1 to 3, the calculation module is only calculation manager. But if you go for 9 version, then it used to be business rules. In 11 version, they introduced the calculation manager, and till 11.1 to 3, till 11.1 to 2, calculation manager as well as business rules both were available. But from 1 to 3, they removed business rule support and they made only the calculation manager available. To be frank, both are same, nothing else. If it is business rules, in EAS you will be having a section of business rules here. If it is calculation manager, then in Navigate Administrator, you will have a calculation manager here. This is only the difference. And the functionality, everything is almost same. And syntax of writing your calculation script or business rule scripts, everything is same. They made it everything into web, and they wanted to use this calculation manager for every tool. SBase, planning, HFM, they're bringing many more other tools which would be using some calculations. So everything will be written from calculation manager itself.
But calculation manager only can be accessed through workspace. But if you say in 11.1.2.3, if they remove the business rule from AAS, that means how can I access it from this space?
No, I didn't get you. Could you come once again?
Okay, you said that in the newer version they removed business rule, right?
Okay.
So they only kept calculation manager, and calculation manager only can be accessed through workspace, right?
Yeah.
How can I do calculation scripts through AAS?
Yes.
So how can I do that if they remove the business rule from space?
Okay, that is migration. They have given the migration utility. If you just mention it, you can it will get migrated to calculation manager. Whatever available in business rules, whenever you want, just take few steps and it will migrate everything to calculation manager. You have to
Because
do that
this
in the previous versions itself. Once
actually,
moved, you can do it.
yeah, actually, this was confusing me before. Why we have calculation scripts in SP and why we have business rules? And the only answer I got that calculation scripts works for actual data directly. You can upload actual data to the space.
Actually, your voice is clipping, Salman. Earlier, I was able to understand because very small words. Now you are giving very big sentence, and I'm not able to catch it.
Okay, you can hear now better. No,
I can hear, but can you use your headphone? I think it's because of speaker.
But I think this speaker is good. Okay, one second. I'll check this one.
If it is laptops mic, then might be that's the reason I'm getting this issue.
Now you can hear me?
Same way,
Hello?
no difference. Same way, no difference. I think you are using mic from laptop, which is giving me this problem.
Yeah, actually I cannot use that because I use different laptop. I thought the mic is better, so I cannot just use the headphone.
Okay, you are saying something. I'll try to understand. Tell me, please.
All right. So what I think of, what is the reason that sometimes we have calculation scripts in AES and business rule and workspace?
One second. Calculation script is different. Once again, business rule and calculation manager both are same. Calculation script is different. Let me tell you the difference between calculation script and calculation manager or business rule. Business rule will have a graphical representation to write the scripting. For suppose, for your easy understanding, you know Informatica? Have you seen any time? Screens and all?
Web?
Any Informatica, ODI or ClickView, anything have you seen or in these?
Yes, yes.
Okay, which one you see? Informatica or ODI?
ClickView, I saw ClickView and.
Okay, ClickView you saw it, right? Okay, great. In ClickView, if you want to combine two tables, what you will do, you will just drag two tables, and whichever you want to make a joint, depend on the whichever the columns, the fields, you just drag from one to you will drag to the second table. So there will be a arrow mark will happen where it will show it as a the joint has been created.
Yes.
Okay. Usually the same thing can be written as a script saying that select particular columns from table A comma table B, where table A of this particular column equal to table B of that particular column. You can write the same script.
Yes. No, I know actually that thing that sometimes you can use UI for coding, but that is for basic.
Exactly. The same script you are making it as you got it into a visual mode, right? Same way, calculation script brought into a visual mode. Rather than writing a calculation script, data copy command, rather than writing a data copy command from few members to few members, rather than writing that, you will drag a data copy command and it will ask you the prompts. Okay, from this dimension, this member, this dimension, this member, this dimension, this member, to this dimension, this member, this dimension, this member, this dimension, this member. Automatically, there will be a data copy command line will be created. So this is the difference. The graphical representation has been introduced in business rules where calculation scripting is straight away scripting. If you want to write a straight away scripting within business rules, still you can do that. And second part, From planning, if you are using a calculation script, you cannot send a variable from the planning directly, because whatever the page you open, only for this particular entity I need to run the script. You cannot do that if you are using a calculation script. In business rules, they bought that idea. They implemented it. From planning, a form opened, whatever the entity they have opened, when the business rule executes, it will execute for the same entity. These are called global variables. The substitution variables we have gone through, right? The same way there are global variables which has been introduced in business rules. Business rules means HBR, Hyperion Business Rules is the product name. Hyperion Business Rules and Hyperion Calculation Manager, both are same. However, Hyperion Business Rules were used only for SBase and planning. But now Hyperion Calculation Manager can be used even for SBase, even for planning, even for HFM. There are many other products which they can use the same calculation manager to write their own scriptings. So he is making something like whatever the whatever the rules or scripts you are going to write in Hyperion, they are making a single platform where you can write the scripts for any tool.
Okay. I think when we going through planning, we will see calculation manager in more insight, right? More depth.
I will show you, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll show you minimum concept. I'll show you for sure. I'll open the calculation manager and how to drag it, how to fill it. I'll show you that.
All right. Okay.
Okay. If I'm going for next, the commands, there are sequence of things which you need to complete. Today we will complete because I'll be explaining a lot on creation of planning application event, which would make you in future easier. Okay. Now, if you want to have only months, quarters, and year total, if you want to have your base members of your calendar as a January or as months, then you will be selecting here as a 12 months. If you are using quarters, because you will be entering the data only on every quarter, you will be entering the data. Every month you don't enter the data. And quarter level you will be checking. I mean, enter the data quarter level for the entire quarter, what is happened, entire quarter, what is my sales, entire quarter, what is my revenue, what is my expense. So entire quarter you will be doing your analysis and every reporting and everything you would be doing. In that case, the base members would become level 0 members would become quarters. There you can select quarters. And there is custom. Custom means if usually you will have 12 dimension members, that is Jan to December, plus parents quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and year total. But what if you want, you don't want to count it in 12 months mode. Your calendar, you are dividing it into what? Weeks. Let's say weeks. You are dividing it into weeks. So every month will have 5 weeks. In that case, you have to specify. You can go for custom and you can select how many periods you need to you want to create. Okay.
Okay. Sometimes 13, they make periods per year 13, so they keep 1 month extra for adjustment period.
Okay. Adjustment months. Yeah, actually, even if you select base periods, there is a period which is getting created, back balance. It's already getting created. That's the reason custom also have 13 members as a default one. 12 months and 13th one is that one. Bank balance. So other than that, if you want to create, yes, then you can increase it here. Then you can select the custom. And if from which year you want to have your year dimension. If you are going to have the data from 2014, then it's better to select from 2013 or 2012. Let me tell you why. From 2014 January, if you are holding the data, that means for 2014 January, there should be a opening which is closing of 2013 December. Right? You're getting me, or you want me to repeat it?
Just repeat it once again.
If you are going to start your year from 2014 and you are saving the data from 2014 January, in 2014 January there will be a opening accounts which should be copied from closing of 2013 December.
Yes.
So what usually they will do is in 2000 December they will enter those data, dummy data, whatever the opening should be, a roll forward should happen to the next year. Those data they will be entering in the December 2013. So usually from which year we are going to start our analysis or our database, plus -1 or -2, I will be selecting as my starting year.
Okay.
I'm selecting 2011. And number of years. How many number of years you want to create? From 2011, if I select.
Sorry, what is that? I mean, helpful for me. I mean, if I define periods 13 and if I define from 2013, so that means I cannot store data before 2013?
Yeah, you cannot. The member will not be available. Year member will not be available.
But I remember that we
there are two different members. There are two different dimensions. First, period. Months would be coming under period dimension. Years would be coming under years dimension.
Yes, but we define that normally. We define the years dimension and we put it years.
Yeah, this is what you need to select. But once you select it, you cannot revert back. This selection has to be decided while creating the application itself.
Okay.
Once application created, you cannot add a previous year member.
Okay.
Okay. And number of years. How many number of years you want to add? I want to add 10 years. From 2012, if I am entering 10, that means 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16. It will come till 2021. Because 2012 also a year. It has to count from 2012. And you need to select, if you are using a 12 months, then you need to select the first month of the year. If you take US, then they will be starting their year with January. If you are taking India, here year will start from April. April to March will be the transactions date. The taxations and everything will be paid for April to March. I don't know how they follow in Dubai. How you follow?
January.
So calendar year itself. Okay, from January to December. So if you need to submit all the tax related things, you will be submitting on January for the entire last year, isn't? From January to December.
Yeah, but we don't have tax here.
No. If not tax, but you have to submit your books, right? Publish
Yeah.
your financial report.
Yes.
So January to December, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. But in India, then income tax is high. Okay, January. So I'll be selecting January. If it is in India, then February. And there is one more country I heard about. Uh, One more country I heard about. They will be starting their year from October.
No, July. Sometime
October
July.
to September. Yeah, there are July also. It's in European countries. Few European countries will start from July to June.
Yes.
Yeah, there are October also. There, I mean, recently I heard that. Just
Oh, really?
3 days back. Yeah, just 3 days back I heard that. I mean, they are I mean, somebody asked me some query. They called me for some help. And they said here the plan would, the calendar starts from October to September. I don't remember. It's okay.
Oh my
So
God.
in those cases, I'll be selecting that. That would be, let's take, I'm selecting April. So April would be my quarter one starts, where quarter one starts, and quarter four ends with March. In that case, fiscal year start date, same calendar year, and weekly distribution. This weekly distribution will have 4 types. How it works is, I have written this. Yeah, you just see this. If you are entering the data 13 at quarter one, how it should be, in this case, if it is quarter four, it's okay. Quarter four, how it should be allocated to its pay, to its, see, this is an expense account. For an expense account, if I enter the quarter, if I enter the data 30, how it should be allocated to its months. If it is even distribution, this one divided by 3 and evenly it will take. If it is 554, for January it will take 5 and 4 and 4. Why 554 and all? This because if you take any 3 months, 1 month will have 5 weeks for sure. There will be 13 weeks per 3 months. So how you need to divide it? You cannot divide it in vary of, okay, for every quarter you will have quarter January, this quarter January will have high, for this quarter June will have high. You cannot take that way. That should be a standard principle how you would be taking it into the consideration. So the first month should be using as a 5, then rest all would be 4. And in 454 mode, the second month would be taking as a 5. The allocation will happen to the 5% parts of 5, and rest all 4. As the same way, 445. You got this logic? Why you are doing this?
But Jan, February, March, or quarter 1, 2, 3? This is
If I enter 1, 2, 3, if I enter on quarter, it has to allocate it to, automatically it should be filled for months. This is what you are doing the budgeting, right? So if you are doing a budgeting, then if you would be entering a data at higher level and it has to allocate it automatically.
yes.
You cannot keep on doing for each and every account and each and every entity and each and every cost center and analysis code on each month. If you are going to do that, it would take 2 years to develop one budget, one forecast plan for 5 years.
So 5 means 5 weeks per January only?
Exactly.
And
Automatically it will take first member with 5.
And
If it is
starting
quarter,
from April, and April what will be 5 also?
I didn't get you. Come again.
first line for 544, right? We have 5 for Jan and for February for March. Then April will be 5 also?
Exactly.
Okay. It will continue like this.
Yeah, it will be entire application.
Okay.
Entire application. How long you might be using for 10 years. 10 years it will follow the same thing. You have to select here itself while you are creating the application. You have to decide whether it is a even distribution 445, 454 or 544. You have to decide while creating the application itself.
Okay.
Let's take an even distribution and all years. First of all, we will delete this application anyway, whatever we are going to create. First thing, I'll not show you this all years parent. Actually, this feature came from 11.121, I think. Earlier, this feature is not available. This feature.
Okay.
I'll show it later.
Okay, I have a question.
Next.
I have a question,
Yes,
please.
Yes, please.
Yeah, regarding number of fiscal years, 10. You put 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Actually, when we define Oracle, for example, ledger in Oracle, we have most of this information, but we don't have like seal years. What you put here is 10 years. That means after 10 years, we will not work with the application? That means like that?
No. Yeah. Actually, you can add the years later on. Initially, I'm starting with 10.
But we can update it anytime, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can update it anytime.
Okay.
You can
fine.
go till 100.
Hmm.
You mentioned here, I think you should get it. Okay. Around around 100 years you can get created, but in the combination you have to take the combination of year and parent. Those combination list should be 10,200, I think. I already mentioned it here. See, add up to 100 calendar years to an application and add up to 500 time period member to an application. So if you are taking a custom time period selections, then you can add up to 500 time periods. There was 13, right? So there you can select 500 till 500. But if you take this combination of the example, actually I copied it from the bootcamp, but what I understand for this example, if you take 400 time period, that is months or time period members, and 27 years you can take, that is okay, it's 10,800. In the same way, in another example, if it is 360 time periods, then you can select up to 30 years. So the combinations, if you take, it would create 10,800 combinations it would create. I think there is some logic which system will planning will not allow more than 10,800 800 combinations from year and time period dimensions.
All right.
There might be. I never saw that, but there might be. So you can create the combinations. If you're taking the combination, you have to make sure it is not crossing 10,800 combinations. Okay, and we're giving next now. Now here setting the currency options. So here if you want to use a currency application, that means if you have in your business, if you have multi-currency mode, that means in different countries if you are having a business and it should be converted to USD or any other reporting currency from different currencies, then you would create a currency application. In that case you have to select yes here, and you have to mention what would be your reporting currency, ultimate reporting currency. If I have a company in India as well as Dubai, but my main company, the corporate company, is at US, then everything I should convert into USD before they submit their reports to their if it is New York, then New York Stock Exchange should get the update from the company to have to understand the business, how they are doing and what are the trailing balance and everything. So everybody has to convert their INR or AUD or AEB, that Arabian currency, whatever, everything should be converted to USD so that they will be presenting their financial report. In those cases, I would be selecting this and I would be selecting that particular uh, currency. Might be for you Qatar, in Qatar there might be one Qatar currency, QAR, right?
Yes,
Currency
QAR.
name QAR.
QAR.
So for you there is a company which is already available in US, but everything has to come back because your registered company is in Qatar. They will be producing, they will be releasing the reports in Qatar itself. So USD has to be converted to Qatar. Here, Qatar will become, QAR will become your currency, your reporting currency. I
Okay.
think it's not there in this list. I'm sorry. Yeah, we have it. Qatari Riyal.
Yes.
Qatari Riyal. Okay, then this will become your reporting currency. That this would be your application default currency. And I'm selecting S.
Okay, one
And
question.
because of, yes, please.
Yeah, back to this space, when we defined database there, we had an option for currency or normal, right? Remember?
Yeah, that is a different database it will create. But here, this would create just a different dimension. That's it.
Different dimension.
Yeah, it will create a dimension. Currency dimension it will create. And there is some functionality. What exactly the currency database would do, the same functionality it will get into the within one application itself. The
Actually,
exchange rates. Yeah.
actually, I remember at the time we discussed the first lecture for currency and normal. He said later on we will see it, but maybe we forgot that. So I think currency, it will create different database, right? But
Yeah.
normal, we
I'll
will
show
create
you.
it all. Yeah.
I'll show you right now itself.
Hmm.
There is already created, so I'll take up those as examples and I'll explain you what it does. Very little information. I don't really go in deep. This would be very much enough anyway. Okay. These are properties. These are two exchange rate is one of the database, and this is international is one of the database. International have scenario, market, product, measures, and years. Okay, and exchange rate has year, current category, currency name, and currency type. Usually, when if you see this here in bracket, you are getting currency. When he's creating a database, he selected the currency and he created this database. So once he created this database, if you go to the properties of these two, if I'm just going to the international, this is the main thing. So I'm going to the statistics and currency, the tab of currency. Then here he would be selecting which is the currency database should be attached to international. He selected exchange rate is the database, currency database, which should be attached to international database. There, how currency conversion should be happen? If you are doing it, okay, if may I know what is the currency exchange rate for USD and Qatari Riyal?
3.1 $1 equals to 3.15 0.04, something like that.
$3 $3 equal to 3
No,
Qatar riyals.
$1 equals to 3.1504, something like that.
Okay, so $1 equal to 3 Qatar riyals.
Yes.
Okay, now if you are converting the if you have an exchange rate, now I have USD has 50, sorry, USD has $50 I have. Now if you are converting it to Qatar riyals, then if you have the details like USD to Qatar is 0.3, something like that, then you would be $50 into 0.3 would become your Qatar riyals.
Yes.
Okay, if you are having in a vice versa, that means you are having a USD as a 50, but if you are having Qatar to USD is sorry, not that way. I'm really sorry. You are having an exchange rate of USD to Qatar is 0.3, but you are having a Qatar value as a 50 Qatar riyals. Now, if you want to find out the USD, then you would be doing 50 divided by 0.3. Which would give you the USD currencies. So how you want to proceed? It's depending on your conversion methods, whether if you are taking it USD to Qatarians or Qatarians to USD. Depend on the value, the exchange rate, how you are taking the exchange rate, whether you need to multiply or divide, whether you need to divide will be applicable. So depend on that, you will be selecting whether multiply or divide here.
All right. Okay.
Okay, and he's checking for default currency type member. There will be a currency type for if you go through the member dimension properties, there are two more dimension properties, which is country and currency type. If you remember this, we have gone through account time, and I gave you a little information about these two actually that time. I remember that, but okay, no problem. I did not show you this way. Now I'll show you. So if you are taking it, no, this cannot be account. Okay. If you're taking these two, he is selecting country here at the same way in the base in the currency database. At the same time, he is also selecting a country from the base database. Country, and there will be a currency type extra in the currency database, whether it is the actual exchange rate or budget exchange rate. What would be the default type of member? He will be selecting it here, so that it becomes a default one. That's it, nothing else. If you don't mention anything, then it would go for actual exchange rate. If you mention budget exchange rate, then it will do the calculation depend on budget exchange rate, nothing else. And here country dimension is market. It's a base one, from base one, because this dimension, this is international, this is a base database. Here if you see, sorry, here international, here if you see, the country dimension is market. You have saved country dimension, you mark it as a country, and time dimension is year, category dimension is measure, and currency partition dimension is scenario. Here scenario. At the same time, on exchange rate, here country, these would be disabled because this is a currency dimension. Only the base dimension will have this information where to connect. So on currency database, it got disabled. These values got disabled. On country dimension, what you have selected here, car name and time period year, category dimension car category. Car category means here it would be. Here it would be car category, and currency partition dimension none. There is no currency partition dimension because it's enough to have in the base database. Now, whenever you are calling the member, if you go here in the measures profit, I'm just editing the properties for this. Here there is a currency conversion category. If you select the category, depend on this category, you can do the conversions. The same P&L he mentioned here. So from this currency conversion category, it will take P&L, it will go to the exchange rate currency database. From that, on P&L combination for the USD, for what is the actual exchange rate for the year for January, for particular January, what is the exchange rate? It will take that exchange rate, it will do the calculation, and it will display it for any other currency in the base database. In currency database, only exchange rates will be saved, nothing else. Am I clear?
Yes, yes, okay.
You understood, right? This will have only exchange rates. The currency database will have only exchange rate, nothing else it will have. Just depend on the combinations, how you need to figure it out. I mean, how you need to pull that data, that depends, because here he will be marking that particular member as P&L, because P&L accounts will be having only for the transaction amount, because every month there will be a transaction. Depend on those amounts, depend on those exchange rate on particular months, the calculation should happen. If you are taking a YTD values, balance sheet items, then YTD values only depend on the current date and current month value, how it is. Depend on that, it has to do the calculation. Or some accounts, if it is a opening accounts, then it would open with on January 1st, whatever the data, whatever the exchange rate, only with that account, only with that exchange rate it would calculate. Closing accounts depend on that particular date, it would get calculated. You know the difference, right?
Yes.
So depend on those, we would be creating the categories, and we would be selecting all this stuff. This is if you have different databases. Same thing can be achieved just by mentioning, by taking all those within a single database itself. That's what planning does. I'll explain you that one also. Okay. Once we create the application. So as of now, you understood that currency database, right?
Yes, yes.
That's enough. Okay. I'm clicking next here. Once you click next here, there will be a plan types which are available. ASO is available here from only 11.123. Earlier there is no ASO applicable for planning application. However, while we are creating the application itself, it will ask whether it is a ASO or BSO in SBase. So if you are selecting an ASO application, it will also create another application name itself other than, see, usually we are creating Salma sample. That is an application name which would be created with the data, which would be created with a BSO application, which will have these three, because you already ticked, you marked three plan types. It will create three databases. Plan types are nothing but databases in the SBase. It will create three databases. But if you select ASO, then it will also create another application itself for ASO application, because ASO or BSO has to be segregated during selection of application itself, not while selecting the database. And workforce planning and capital asset planning. Workforce planning, these are the
why we have the three plans types, and why not 4, why not 5, why not 1 also? Why only 3?
You can have 1 or 2, no problem. You can have how much you want. You can also select workforce planning and capex planning.
But I mean, why maximum only 3? I mean,
more than 3 application will not allow. I mean, it will be slowed. It will become slow. And
No,
one more thing, they developed the planning tool to support only these many. There will be a backend scriptings, right? They developed those scriptings and logics to support only these many.
Okay, so you mean to say plan type, we can have 3 plan type within one application?
Yes, five plan types. That means 5 databases you can have within one application.
5 databases. Okay.
Yeah, everything will become a database.
Okay, workforce and CapEx.
Workforce planning. These workforce planning means again something like project financial planning and public sector planning. These are 2 different applications. Related to workforce planning means it will allow you to do your head count things and all for HR related things. How many people should be on work, how many trainees are there, how many consultants are there, how many managers are there, and which person is under which guy, and what is the attrition rate, who joined when, and when they are changing the projects, what is the revenue on that particular head, and everything. Those type of things can be created. It's employee related thing.
Have you worked with workforce before?
Not directly, not on application directly, but I gave some help on workforce planning application.
Okay.
I did not go through the requirement gathering and creating and everything. And that too, workforce planning will almost all the time, almost all members would be automatically created the moment you select it.
Okay.
There are different as the same way capex planning, capital asset planning. If you remember, there will be a sustaining capex and semi-expansion capex. Capex means capital expenditure. So how you are using your capital, the capital amount. So that would become your capex planning, capex application. If you are doing the analysis, if you are creating a database on that, then you could select this.
Okay.
Okay. Right now, I'm not selecting anything that one, but you can check it out later on. And this is just a review, creating an application. If you see it here, you can see the application. See, it got created, but it won't create any databases right now. It's not completed.
Maybe you need to deploy, right, or what?
Yeah, internally. Again, hierarchies has to be. Once you create it here, yeah. Once you create here, let me refresh. Once you create here, you need to log into that application. Manage application and create database. If you push, this will push the databases and hierarchies. Done. Refresh database list. You see, and 3 got created. If you open outline, there are few members. It got created. I'll explain remaining things from in the next class. Okay. I need to explain the dimension, why it got created this way, and here if you see HSP rates, why it got created this way, and these all I need to explain. In next class I will explain those.
All right. Okay.
Okay, and once I explain this, again we will delete this application. We will create another application with 2 more options changed. We will see how it got created. We will delete that once again. We will create a sample application which is already having a hierarchies, forms and everything already created. On that we will explain all the options. Okay?
Okay. Very good.
Now, of course it takes one more day. but I am okay. If you are okay, then I'm okay. If not, then we can skip those things.
You can take your time. Actually, I'm enjoying learning the.
Okay then. Okay then. I want to give you a clear understanding because in the demo I already gave you a commitment. I'll take you through very detailed mode. So I'll take you through how much best I can.
Yeah, very much appreciated from you actually.
Thank you. Okay then. We'll
All
meet
right.
in the next class.
What is the time for next class? Next class is
Honest.
Friday. We can have it during the weekday.
During the weekday, I think your time is not getting set. Actually, on Thursday, I asked him, but your timing is not set. I mean, it's not setting for you and me. So it's going only on
During
the.
Wednesday, I can have it same like today, if you will, if you can. 9 p.m. Your time, 6:30 my time. It's gonna be
I
suitable.
I never get relieved within 9 o'clock. Within 11 o'clock in the night. 11 to 1. It really takes 1 o'clock in the night to reach my home. And I'm going at 11 o'clock in the morning.
All right. So, خلاص, let's keep it next Friday then. No problem.
Okay, yeah, sure. If possible, if I get any leave or any holiday, then I'll let you know. Those days we can. I don't know whether we have any holiday. I'll check. If I have, I'll let you know. Depend on that, we can take the class.
Okay.
Okay. Okay then. Okay. Thank you.
Fine. Thank you very much.
Sorry for
Kumar,
delay.
for
I
today.
think I lost almost 30 minutes we lost for today. I'm really
Uh-huh.
sorry for that.
No issue. No issue. No issue at all. Okay. So see you next week, and you can also make your mind regarding the offer I told you about.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sure. That's what I was actually thinking. Even yesterday, I was talking to my friend about the same thing. Okay, we'll see for sure. Hello, 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 hello.